Hi everyone, my name is Asdruval. I am an English teacher and this is the English Lab. Welcome back to another video here on the English Lab. Today I'm going to present to you a very useful and interesting information that I'm pretty sure is going to help you improve your English practice. So stay tuned. When it comes to learning a language, there is a huge number of things involved in the process. Specific factors or parts of the process that we need to master or that we need to understand in order to improve our practice. So today I'll be presenting the 5 factors that influence language learning. Factor number 1, desire versus obligation. The first thing you gotta do once you've started your learning process or your learning path is to ask yourself, am I doing this because I have to or because I want to? There is a big difference between doing things because you have to for obligation or because you really have the desire. If you do something because you want to do it, there is intrinsic motivation. That is definitely going to have a positive impact on your process. Factor number 2, exposure to the 4 skills: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So when we're learning a new language, even when you learned your first language, the order in which you learned this or you developed these skills was first you learned how to listen and understand, you were repeating, so you were practicing speaking, and then you started to read and write. You can learn a second language in the same order, but the important thing is that you expose yourself to the 4 skills equally or in a balanced way, that you develop these skills as balanced as possible. Factor number 3 is motivation. You need to stay motivated throughout the process. Find those things that help you stay focused and excited about this wonderful process that is learning a new language. For example, one of the reasons why I was learning English is because I wanted to have conversations with my nephew and my niece. They are American, so I needed to speak in English with them. Then another motivation or another reason was that I wanted to get a better job. So the question that you have to ask yourself to find your motivation is, why am I doing this? Factor number 4 is something we're all afraid of, which is frustration and failing. When we make mistakes, we start being so hard on ourselves, and it's perfectly understandable, but the best advice I've given my students is stop being hard on yourself and embrace your mistakes. Why? Because you are going to make mistakes. Guess what? You won't avoid failing. Failure is not even trying. But failing is part of the process. You'll make mistakes. You'll mispronounce words. You might find it hard to understand a native speaker, or you don't understand the reading, you forget the meaning of a word, you use the wrong preposition. Those things do not matter. They do not determine your value as a student, as a learner, and as a speaker. You are great just the way you are. The important thing here is that you embrace your mistakes, that you're not afraid of making mistakes, and that you learn from those mistakes. Remember, if you do something wrong, you're learning how not to do something, and then you'll figure out the right way to do it. So my advice is embrace your mistakes and don't be afraid of making them. Don't be afraid of failing and keep going. And factor number 5, culture. Why is culture important when learning a language? Us humans have this amazing ability to develop this complex system of words and sounds and phonemes and letters and symbols that communicate messages. That's the number 1 goal of every language. To get across a message, to communicate, to create societies in which we can understand each other. So part of that is learning the culture. When you're learning a language, you are learning a culture. If you're learning English, whether it is the American accent or the British or Australian or whatever accent you're learning, you are learning the culture where that language is coming from, or that accent or that dialect. There are idioms, specific expressions that come from a cultural background that is only present in that country. Your first language has expressions, words, slang, grammar, stories that only exist in that language and that only exist in the country you live in. So you must surround yourself of the culture as much as possible, because culture is also part of the process. If you got to this part of the video, I just want to say thank you for watching, and please share the video with your family and friends. Feel free to reach out, follow me on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, where I can answer your questions and interact with you. I want to give a special thanks to Marian, who is the person who shared this valuable information about the 5 factors that influence language learning. And remember, English isn't as hard as you think.